Welcome into Texans Today, everybody. I'm your host, Jeremy Chuggs, and coming up on today's program, where do your Texans wide receiver rank on the top 32 board by USA Today? I'll let you know who's ranked where, and spoiler alert, one of our guys is not ranked. Also, a breakout candidate that I'll break down at the end of today's show. But before we get started, the first commenter club, I pulled the video from last week, pulled out the first 5 commenters. I just want to give a shout out because, hey, whenever I drop a video and you immediately go in, like the video, comment on the video, it helps me out a ton. It helps this channel out a ton. And I just want to give a big shout out to Dark VR, Adam Martinez, Ivan, Ray, and Guiano, Pick 6 Cards, and Colton Soto. Thank you so much for commenting first on one of my videos last week. If you want to get a shout out on a future show, first off, you got to be subscribed, so hit that sub button, click the notification bell, and select the all option. Now, best Texans wide receiver. We've, debated since Stefon Diggs got traded earlier this offseason to the Houston Texans, who's wide receiver 1? Who's the top wide receiver on the Houston Texans? Well, USA Today, they made a list of the top 32 receivers entering the 2024 NFL season. And spoiler alert, Tank Dell, not ranked. He was an honorable mention, but was not a part of their top 32 receivers was Tank Dell. So I found that a little interesting, but at the same time, he was a rookie. He got injured last year, so I understand kind of why they had it. But if you think Tank Dell is a top 32 receiver in this league, like I do, I think Tank Dell might be better than some other Texans receivers this year, which I'll get into in just a moment. But if you agree with me, if you think Tank is a top 32 guy, go down and like the video, hit that thumbs up icon, because I'm telling you, Tank Dell is going to prove a lot of people wrong as a guy who was drafted in the middle rounds out of the U of H, repping H-Town all the way. Tank Dell, I think he's going to turn a lot of heads this season. But let's get into the list that USA Today put out of their top 32 wide receivers. Starting off, Calvin Ridley, Jordan Addison, Diontae Johnson, Drake London are the first 4 in. And, looking at that, first 4, I think Tank Dell better than Diontae Johnson. I think Tank Dell is better than Jordan Addison and Calvin Ridley. So we'll see. We'll see how the season plays out. But going on with the list, this is where you see our first Texan in Nico Collins at 17, a former Texan, DeAndre Hopkins, at 24, but they have Nico slotted in right above Deebo Samuel and Amari Cooper. I think maybe he should be a little bit higher because these next couple names, I think Nico could be better or is better than Terry McLaurin. Cooper Kupp, maybe. Puka Nacua, I think Nico Collins is better than Puka in my opinion. Jalen Waddle as well. We've talked about their comparison earlier this offseason after Jalen Waddle got his contract. And then you see Mike Evans, DJ Moore, Garrett Wilson, and Stefon Diggs, ranked at number 9. Top 10 receiver, Stefon Diggs, who the Texans traded for earlier this offseason. It's the highest-ranked Texans receiver on this list as we go into the top 8. I did find Brandon Ayuk being 8 a little surprising. I know he's really good, but all the way at 8, they had Amon-Ra St. Brown at 7, Devontae Adams at 6, CeeDee Lamb at 5, A.J. Brown, Jamar Chase, Tyreek Hill, and Justin Jefferson to round out the list. So off the jump, I just want to ask you, how do you feel about this USA Today ranking list? Let me know down in the comment section. I want you to grade it. Get out your red pens, pass your paper to the right, and grade it A, B, C, D, or F. How would you grade this USA Today ranking of the wide receivers? Let me know down in the comment section because I think I would give it a B. It's hard. I don't think it's awful. I don't think it's 100% correct, but it is pretty hard once you get into the nitty-gritty of ranking some of these guys against each other. And I might have my, Texans goggles on, but in my opinion, I think Nico should be a little higher than 17. I think Stefon might be a little bit lower than 9. I don't know if he's still a top 10 receiver in this league. And I said it in the beginning. I think Tank Dell should be ranked. We look at this Texans wide receiver core from last year's stats perspective. Tank Dell missed almost half the season, but still had over 700 yards, 7 touchdowns on the year. Nico Collins, 80 receptions for almost 1,300 yards. What a split there. 80 receptions for 1,300 yards. In comparison, Stefon Diggs had 107 receptions for only 1,183 yards. Both of those guys had 8 touchdowns on the year last year. But at the end of the day, I know we're talking about rankings, we're talking about this and that. I don't think it really matters who's wide receiver 1 because CJ Stroud's going to throw the pill all around the field. Everybody's going to get theirs this year, in my opinion, in this Bobby Slowick offense. I think he's really going to spread the ball around, going to throw a lot more this year. So my updated depth chart for the Houston Texans, we have 3 wide receiver ones. I'm going to stop putting wide receiver 2 and wide receiver 3. We have 3 wide receiver ones in Stefon Diggs, Nico Collins, and Tank Dell. So they're all wide receiver 1, in my opinion. Do I think maybe Nico Collins is the most talented out of the 3? I think he could be the best going into next season. Tank Dell, obviously, a stud in his own right, being a rookie last year and getting injured. He has a great rapport with C.J. Stroud as well. And Stefon Diggs, I mean, he's been one of the best in the NFL for the past couple of years. So I really do believe the Texans have 3 wide receiver 1s on their roster going into this next season. Now, coming up, who's the Texans breakout candidate named by USA Today? I found it pretty interesting, and a debate that we had around the office that I need you to settle. I need you to settle this debate for me coming up in just a moment. But if you want the brand new secondary logo, the H-Town logo on some shirts, hoodies, sweaters, whatever you need, go to chatsports.com/H-Town. We have all of the options available for you. A cool shirt to rep during the summer. I mean, hey, maybe not the sweater, maybe not the jacket, but maybe go grab one of the H-Town shirts. Maybe rock it to a bar this summer. Maybe go out and hang out. Maybe H-Town long sleeve once the season rolls around and gets a little bit cooler. Like I said, all those options available at chatsports.com/H-Town. It'll be in the comment section and description of today's video. Now, USA Today, they named Kamari Lassiter as the Texans breakout candidate for this season. Rookie cornerback selected in the second round, has been getting a ton of hype through minicamp and OTAs. Looks like he might be starting outside opposite of Derek Stingley. I'll break down what USA Today had to say in just a moment, but there's a debate in the office. And producer Trace, if you want to jump in and give your take on this as well, I want to know from you, can a rookie be a breakout player? Because I told the guys in the office, I said, hey, they named Kamari Lassiter as the breakout player for the Houston Texans. And then our Browns host, Matthew Petey, said, well, that's dumb. There's no way that could happen because he's a rookie. You can't be a rookie and a breakout player. Producer Trizzy Trace, what are your thoughts on this?
I mean, it's hard to break out as a rookie because there's nothing to look at to compare it to. So you have to see what the foundation of the player is, and then can they build on that? So I'm with you, Jeremy.
I see both sides of it, Trace. I see both sides. I mean, I get most people think breakout player, you've been in the league a couple of years, you maybe didn't have the best stats, and then you broke out. You exceeded expectations. But I think, if you're a rookie, maybe a middle-tier, second-round pick that not a lot of people expected you to be, the top cornerback in the league. And if Kamari Lassiter comes out and he's a legit cornerback, shutdown guy, I think he could be a breakout candidate for the Texans. I kind of see it both ways. This is what USA Today, though, had to say on it. Drafted to compete for reps at the nickel position, the former All-SEC standout at Georgia held his own working first-team reps out on the boundary. Everyone saw the pass breakups against Pro Bowl receiver Stefon Diggs, but he's more than a one-time highlight. Lassiter looked fluid when breaking out of his back pedal and seemed eager to improve after a bad rep. D'Amico Ryan said Lassiter is the type of player who doesn't need to be told to do things twice. Let's see if a month removed from practice field doesn't lead to any regression. If so, Houston might have 2 cornerstones on the perimeter in coverage. And we look at the Texans cornerback depth chart. If Lassiter can step up, I mean, this unit's looking very solid, in my opinion. I mean, honestly, Lassiter does need to step up for this Texans team to really take that next step and be, one of the top teams in the AFC. Because you have Derek Stingley on one side. If you can get Kamari Lassiter on the other side and shut down teams' number 2 options with this Texans pass rush, I think this Texans defense can be deadly defending the pass this year. And that's what you need in an AFC that has guys like a Patrick Mahomes, a Justin Herbert, a Josh Allen, a Lamar Jackson, a Joe Burrow. I mean, some of the best young quarterbacks in the league, a Tua Tagovailoa. All these guys can absolutely dime up defenses all throughout the NFL season. So you need depth at the cornerback position. So if Kamari Lassiter can bring that, I mean, this Texans defense is going to take major strides going into this season. That's all I have for you on today's show, folks. If you want to continue the conversation, if you want to hit me up on social media, at Jeremy Chuggs on X and at Jeremy_Chuggs on Instagram. It's been real, guys. Hope you all have a great day, and don't forget, let's go Texans.